All right, let's start it off. I have graphed a little nice one up here. I'm going to call f of x. Here's what I need your help doing right now. Just using the graph, can you find me these four values? All right, so let's start with the first one. It says, can you find the value for f of 3? Whatever number is in here, please realize that's for the what value? X value, okay? So that's the x value. All right, whatever's number is plugged into there. So if I look at the graph at x equals 3, so everyone go on the x-axis right now. Most of you know how to do this already, but I'm just reviewing slowly. At x equals 3, so I go over 1, 2, 3 on the x-axis. What is its corresponding y value? That's what I'm looking for in these four here. All right, so I go over to 3 on the x-axis right here. What's its corresponding y value? Let's start off today. 6, let's do this. 1, 2, 3. You look up. Where is it on the y-axis? 2. Everyone all right? It's at 2. All right, let's jump over to the right. What about f of 7 now? F of 7. So if x is equal to 7, what's its corresponding y value there? 1. -2. Nice job. Let's finish this off strong. -4. What's its corresponding y value now? 19. 2. And finally, what about f at -7 if I'm using this graph? So everyone count over to -7 on the x-axis and its y value. Hey, 14. -4. All good? Zeros. I don't want to know what they are. Where are they located on any graph I give you? Where are the zeros located on any graph I give you? 13?
On the x-axis.
Where the graph crosses the x-axis. Those are my zeros, x-intercepts, solutions. And you have 2 of them here. X equals. What are they? Where do they cross the x-axis? Let's roll. 3. -5, and we got another one. 5. +5. Nice job. Why is it impossible to give me f of 9? Why is it impossible to tell me what the value of f of 9 is? Hearing from a lot of people. 18. Why is it impossible? Graph stops at, what was it, 7? So there is no graph at 9. Bless you. So there is no graph at x equals 9. Pretty much no graph there. Domain and range now. Here you go. Domain. Anybody remember what value? Domain 23. What value are my domains? Domain, x or y values? X values, yes. X values for domain. So I need you to tell me, because we know it doesn't go on forever, because there wasn't a value at 9. From what to what x value does this graph go to? And then I'll help you write it. From what to what does this x value go to? On the x-axis, the numbers go from here to here. Start to finish. Here you go, 6. Start to finish. Where am I? Yep, -7 all the way to where on the positive side? +7. 2 ways you can write that. 2 ways. I'm going from -7 to 7 for what values? My x values. So I could write it like that, from -7 to 7. And anybody know why I have the or equal to? What type of dot do I have here? It's closed. Anybody else know how else I can write this? I don't think you guys are exposed to this too much. Since it includes -7 and 7, -7, comma 7 with brackets around it, yes. Whatever you prefer, I don't care. Whatever you prefer, ladies and gents. Range, y values. Ooh, this might be a little bit tougher. What y values does this graph go to? So now look at the x-axis. From what low point to high point does the y values go to? You got this? (22) when you're ready, let me know what it ranges from. Okay, so -4. Y values now to 2. -4 to 2. Or, again, you could write it with those brackets if you wanted to. All right, you ready? Okay, now let's start stretching and compressing this sucker. New graph, g of x, and here's how I'm going to get g of x. 2 times f of x. 2 times f of x. Let's start with f of x. That's another name for what? F of x. Those are my y values. So every y value on that graph is what's going to happen to it. It's going to get multiplied by 2. Are the x's going to change? No. Just every y value is going to get multiplied by 2. So now g of -7. Go back up to the top, everyone. What was f of 7? What was f of 7? -2. And what am I doing to the y values? Multiplying it by 2. So what should be my now new value for g of -7? I'm taking all the y values and multiplying it by 2. So what's my new value for g of -7? 12. What do you think? Ready? Go back to the beginning. What was f of -7? Go back to the top. What was f of -7? So I'm taking -4 and multiplying it by what, according to this rule? That's my y. That was my y value right here, Greg. That's my y value, -4. Now multiplying it by 2. All right, that's 2. This is what it's saying. 2 times your y value. So I'm multiplying it by 2, so that'll be -8. You could still use the graph, just multiply your y value by 2. G of -4, go. G of -4. Take your previous y and multiply it by 2. 24, what am I looking at here? 4. Why? 2 times 2. G of 3. Take your former y coordinate at 3 and multiply it by 2. Go ahead, 21, where am I? 4. Again, that's 2 times 2. G of 7, where am I now? 22, where am I now? G of 7. -4 because I did 2 times -2. So I'm at -4. What are you doing to the f of x graph to get this new one? Describe to me in words right now. What are you doing to the f of x graph to get to this new graph? What have we been just doing here to get to this new graph? Maybe. Tom, go ahead before I snap. Well, I'm not even talking about that. It's saying, what are you doing to this graph to get to this new one? What I've been doing. Multiplying what by 2? Multiply all y values by 2. Okay, I'll walk around. Let me see you graph now g of x on that same graph. Go ahead and graph g of x on the same graph. You guys have some points already from A. You got -7, -8. You got 3, 4. You got -4, 4. And you got 7, -4. And then you can start taking all the other points and multiplying their y values by 2. Let's see what they look like for you and see if we match our graphs. And you guys just added a second graph on there, so make sure you label at least one of them, g of x or f of x. Okay, now that you put a second one on there. Okay, you found some points already. X is -7, y is -8. X is, y is, okay. We're taking all the y values and doing what? What's that? Okay, no, we're doing, according to this, what were we doing to all the y values? Okay, so I can take that y value, multiply it by 2, that y value, multiply it by 2, and graph the new one. If you're feeling brave, go ahead and find the new domain and range for this new g of x function. Okay, what's the new x value range, and what's the new x value domain, and what's the new y value range from what to what? Because it's going to change now. One of them will at least. And try it out. Domain from what x value to what x value, range from what x value to what y value to what y value. $15, did the x values change at all? We didn't touch them. We multiplied every what by 2? Y value by 2. We didn't touch the x's, so that's going to stay -7 to 7, or if you write it with brackets, that's fine too. All right, but the range would have changed now. Range is going to change. To what? 16. What are my new range now?
-8 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 4.
Nice job. Yep. And shockingly, we did this on the previous page for me. We took our old range and just multiplied the ends by 2. See how that worked? We multiplied the y values by 2, and there's the new range. All right. Guys have questions now, multiplying that by 2. And again, we already knew this coming out. I probably should have asked you this at the beginning. But if you multiply, what did we multiply by? +2. If we always multiply by a number bigger than 1, what happens to your graph? Gets stretched vertically, right? Gets stretched. All right, if we multiply by a number bigger than 1. All right, quick review. What happens if we multiply 1 by a negative number and 2 by a number that is smaller than 1 now? You guys remember what happens if I multiply by a negative? Multiply by a negative, flip over the x-axis, and this 1/2 tells me it's going to get compressed, aka wider. All right, so that's something we know the graph should look like. All right, so the quadrat, so this is f of x right here. Make sure we all are on the understanding that's f of x. Here's g of x. Multiply all the y values by what now? Here you go, 26. What am I about to multiply all the y values by? I have a 26. By what? I have f of x. I'm going to take all their y values and multiply it by what now, according to this rule? How do I get g of x? I multiply all the y's from f of x by, here, what's here? Ready? G of x equals negative 1/2 times f of x. Josh, f of x is another way of saying what values? Sure about that? F of x? Y. So I'm taking every y value and multiplying it by what? Negative 1/2. Everyone ready? So what's g of 0 going to be? Well, look on your graph. Look on the f of x graph. Where is 0 right now? So I'm at 0. What's the corresponding y value? I'm at 0. What's the corresponding y value? 24. Negative 2. So to find my new one, I'm going to take negative 2 and multiply it by what again, Josh? Negative 1/2. So g of 0 would be positive 1. Can you guys do the same thing without my help now for g of 3? G of 3, remember, this is the f of x graph. Find it at 3 on the graph, then multiply it by negative 1/2. G of 3, 15, G of 3, negative 2. Nice job, because you took negative 1/2, multiplied it by f of 3, which was 4, and got negative 2. Can you guys sketch a graph of g of x now, do you think? Take every y value and multiply it by negative 1/2. Go ahead, I'll walk around. You guys know it should flip and get a little wider. You know that now at the end. It should flip and get a little wider. Can you sketch this new g of x? You already know 2 points, 0, 1, and 3, negative 2. Should get a little wider and flip over the x-axis. So go ahead, let's see. More assistance, which is the way it is. Everyone ready? Here's how this procedure is done. Everyone see this point right here. Where is it on the y-axis? Where is it on the y-axis? At 1, 2, 3, 4. So you are going to take 4 and multiply it by what? Negative 1/2. What's 4 times negative 1/2? Negative 2. So now this point goes to negative 2. I go to this point. Oh, it's 4 again. It goes to negative 2. I go to this point. Where's this point on the y-axis? Negative 4. I multiply it by negative 1/2. That's positive 2. So now I go up, same x. I'm not changing the x. I go up to 2. All right, I go up to 2. I'll wait till everybody's done graphing it correctly. Now that range now. Range. Be careful on this one. It's a parabola, so it's not going to go from here to here. What's my range now? Y values from what y value all the way down? Here you go, 8. Range. What do we think? Range. What's your highest y value on here for g of x? What is it? 2. right there. Highest y value is 2. And then it goes less than or greater than 2. All your y values, do they get smaller than 2 or bigger than 2? They get smaller, right? And there's no ending to it, right? Because it's a parabola, right? So we're going to say the range is going to be y is less than or equal to 2. And you guys that want to do and I'll show it because I know some of you guys are this far. It goes from, includes 2, so it gets a bracket all the way to what? All the way down, so negative infinity, and infinity never gets a bracket. Okay, so if you want to write it like that, that's fine. But the y is less than or equal to 2 is fine as well. Okay, last part before we get to some Regents questions. I've graphed there's actually 4 graphs on here. Everyone see the very, very bold one. Do we see the very bold one? Focus in here. We see the bold one. That's my original f of x. Then I did this to it. I multiplied it by a half. Somebody tell me what's happening. 1/2. It's getting compressed. What's another word for compressed? Probably easier for us. Wider. So this one's getting wider. What's happening to this graph here? I'm going to start calling on people. What's happening to the second graph? 2. Negative f of x. What's the effect of putting a negative out in front? Flipping it over what? X-axis. And then multiplying it by 2. What effect does it have on the graph? Multiplying it by 2, 10. Stretched. Another word. N ends in narrower. Never mind. Narrower, yep. Vertically stretched too, yes. Okay, you and your group right now, you figure out which graph is which and label it, please, with g of x, h of x, and k of x. Here's your original one, remember, and you know what's happening. So find me the wider one, find me the flipped one, find me the narrow one. Okay, go ahead, talk it over. Yes, you may have to converse with some people in your group. Whatever if you want to do sign language, tongue clicking, if English is not what you want to do. Okay, which graph is which up here? How about this first graph right up here? Which graph is that one? Here you go, 8. This graph is h of x. This one's the one that's flipped. This one right here. That is k of x. So you're saying, yes, this is the one that's getting narrower. Thank you. You got me rattled now too. All right, k of x. Hey, narrow. Hey, remember, some of you guys are erasing. Narrower means it's inside. Take a look. See this black one here, f of x? It's inside. It's getting narrower. All right, what about the next one? That's the graph of 10. G of x, yep, because that is the wider one. It's outside. Take a look. Here's the black one. It's outside. It's getting wider, which process of elimination means this last one is the flipped one, which is h of x. Questions, comments? I'm going to ask that tonight. I know you guys check it, but You're not doing yourself any good if you just copy down what I have on Aspen tonight for the homework answers, all right? So try it on your own, please. August 2015, let's go. You guys know no time is wasted here anymore. August 2015, I gave everybody or groups a straight edge because you're going to need it. We're going to graph something right away. So number 26, please, 26. Make sure August 2015, not the June one. We're done with that one as far as I'm concerned, unless you want to come in here and ask questions. Maddie. I actually remind me at the end, I can tell you. Yep, thank you for reminding me. Okay, we're on 26. We're going to graph this inequality. This should be a free 2 points, I hope, or going to be a free 2 points. Here we go, everyone. Number 26. You have to open the packet up to number 26 for me. Yep. Is there another packet over there then? Okay, everyone ready? Graphing it on there. They all go to 24? This one doesn't. What do you mean they go to 24? I don't understand.
24.
Question number 26.
Oh, okay, I get it. I think that's
Okay. Everyone ready to go? I'm not going to help you here. I'm sorry. I got to let you guys start doing stuff on your own. All right, because come June, whatever the date is, I can't hold your hand for here. Get it in y equals form first, please, right? Go, get it into y equals form. All right, I got a lot of work to do if you can't get it into y equals form. Get it into y equals form, please, for me. Y is greater than negative 2x plus 1. Graph some points now for me. Let me see you graph some points. I don't want you to graph the line because I'm afraid, just like I see some of you doing now, you're going to forget a rule. Graph some points, please. Again, I'm just going to tell you where you should be here. If you can't graph this line right now, whoo boy, we got our work cut out for us. Either using your graphing calculator or what you know about slope and y-intercept. Again, please just graph points. That's all I'm looking for right now. Some of you may know what's coming up. Some of you may not. Make sure you have a straight edge available right now. Let's graph some points. Oh, a little light. Okay, you got me there. You got me there. Okay, I can't see a thing. Okay, here we go, everyone. You can grab your straight edge. I didn't want you to graph the line because do you see an or equal to attached to this? No, that's a special type of line then. This line should not be solid. It should be dashed. Yes, it should be some kind of dashed full line. So everyone go ahead now, grab, yep. All right, everybody, a critic here. Whew. Embarrassing. Let's try this way. Down to 1, down to. And now let's see if I can get a dashed line going, maybe. There we go. And you guys know it's an inequality, so this isn't going to be good enough. What's always attached to an inequality graph? Some type of shading, yes. And let's go over the way I guess you guys were taught, which is test 0, 0. Okay, so go ahead, plug in. Let's see, is 0 greater than or equal to -2 times 0 plus 1? Is this a true statement? Is 0 greater than or equal to 1? Is that true? Is 0 greater than or not? Why did I didn't put an or equal to? Is 0 greater than 1? Nope. So should you shade towards 0, 0? Nope. Hey, I've even seen kids in the past say, oh, 0, 0. No, they write the no there, meaning don't shade towards it. All right, so we are going to shade away from 0, 0. It's pretty easy, 2 points, huh? The only thing I worry about is the dash line. All right. Any issues going before we move on? All right, let's go. As many as we can fit in here. Number 22. We are going to start seeing words, terms, problems repeat themselves, which is the case here. I'm glad everyone's got some form of calculator in front of them. For which value of P and W, if I add P and W together, gives me a rational number. Quick review, rational number. Examples, rational number. 1, 2.5, 8, 6.3 repeating. Anything that repeats or ends. Anything that repeats or ends. Shouldn't go on forever, right? So I'll give you guys a minute, go through the choices, add up P and W. There's only going to be one up here. Some of you may not even need the calculator, you can tell already, but all right, let's get going. Let's get going. Start plugging them into your calculator. P plus W, which one of these ends up in a rational number? You can turn it back into a fraction. And that's another trick. You can always turn a rational number back into a fraction. $25, we find it?
2.
Choice 2, nice job, yep. When you add 1/2, which is what that is, plus 1/3, you get a rational number. Yep. Questions? Nice and easy. We got time for this last one. 27. Rachel and Mark debating. Okay, we got X number of hours, and then Y value is your number of bacteria. Here's what Rachel's saying. Use a linear function to represent this. Mark's saying, you better use exponential. Who made the better choice? Well, a linear function goes by the same amount. The Y values are constant. They go by the same amount if it's linear. All right, if it's a linear function, again, Y values go by the same amount. So what we're looking at here is, hey, is 220 to 280 the same as going from 280 to 350, 350 to 440, etc.? Are we going by the same amount on our Y values every time? Basically, is the slope staying the same? That's what you're checking. Are we going by the same Y values? And I'll finish it tomorrow. No, it's not, so it's exponential. What, Matt? Okay, let me get back there with you.